I'm going to show a couple of my pro tips for wheel prep. So I use just a cheap truing stand from Harbor Freight to kind of prep wheels as I'm doing new tires and bibs. Put a little bucket underneath like this and get your brake clean. You can easily and cleanly do this right on the top of my toolbox. Clean out all the nipples. You don't want dirty nipples. There you go. All right, next part of this process is sealing up the nipples. So normally wheels come with these things, strips, rim strips, but these are silly and ain't nobody got time for that. Just go get you some Gorilla Tape, black stuff, and watch. I just did a rear, so I already know it's that wide. So I usually find one of the holes and start there. 1, 2, 3. 3 nipples away. And then pull tight, drop it in. I'm gonna work it down into the drop well. What I'm looking at right here is the edge of the tape. I want it down after the drop well chamfer, so when I install the tire and bib it doesn't get jacked up. And then here I like to go another 3 the other way. Right there. If you want to make it extra good, set up my heat gun like so, and I start spinning the wheel. Heat up that adhesive, really help it stick. I'm mostly focusing on the edges here where I don't want the Bib Mousse gel to leak out through. Cut some holes out for rim lock. So I do 2 rim locks, and that was a tip I saw on another Arizona guy's video. And ever since then, I kind of been doing that myself, but it helps prevent the tire from slipping. Those soft gummies and soft bibs really grab onto stuff, and the bike can slip the rim inside the tire, so it's no bueno. All right, this one's ready for a tire and bib. Time to lube it up. Ah! All right, this one's ready to go in. All right, we got a bib in. So this is my method for installing a Bib Mousse tire with dual rim locks. So I pick one of the rim locks to start with, and then get the bead started on the bottom bead started on the rim lock. Use the cinch strap to kind of hold it in place there. I'm gonna grab a set of curved levers. Start working the bottom up. Like so. Okay. Now comes one of the tricky parts. So you gotta slip this one up under there and then get this over the other rim lock. So I actually have that screwed in. I'm trying to get the tire to go up and over that. Okay, that looks good. Yep, it's good. So I went over the top of that rim lock. Oh shit, popped down over here. No, we didn't. We just kind of started rising up. There we go. So this can come out really. Cinch this down just to make sure it doesn't hop off. Okay, so the bottom bead's on now, and the bottom bead is going to be stuck on top of this second rim lock, so we need to flip it over and set that. Blue rim lock, you can kind of see it. Piece of cake. This is all it takes. nobody give me shit for levering against this brake rotor. Okay, so the bottom bead is now good to go. Switch back to the top side. I loosened up my cinch strap and now I'm gonna set this bead behind the rim lock. So I'm either side with the tire levers of the rim lock. I'm using the third one here to react against the sprocket and push up. Get that bead lock up against the mousse. Get that down in there. Still being stubborn. Some extra pressure on that rim lock there. I had to come in there with the Mac Daddy levers to force that rim lock up. It was just hanging up with the threads on the rim. I got this section worked on a little bit. I'm just gonna keep going. We're gonna eventually get over here to this rim lock on the opposite side, and then we'll have to do a similar kind of technique there. I guess I should hang on to the lever though. I'm real close now over there. One more bite here. The next little trick I use are these little blocks that I bought on Amazon. I'm not even sure what they're called. But basically the point is to just wedge these down in there, kind of like a bead buddy, which you can use too, to keep the opposite side of the bead dropped into the wheel there. And so what I'll do is just take yet another lever, just get down in there to where I can shove this in. In this case, I'm just shoving it down with my palm with some weight because I'm not able to jam this block up under there with this because of the second bead lock. Probably a little further away from that bead lock you could get it to work, but I'm not gonna monkey with it right now. This should just be enough. So. And then, I don't know, hopefully the camera caught that, but I just worked these two levers over and the bead dropped right on top of that rim lock there. So the next step here is to do the same thing. Just bead lock up into that mousse, and then look at that, bead just dropped right in. And if it didn't, then I would just use these two levers to kind of push the bead down. Okay, so now we're at a point where we need to make sure at these two rim locks, the bead is seated properly on the rim, otherwise the rim locks won't bite the way they should. So, you can see over here on this side, the shoulder of the tire is up where it needs to be. Some of this extra gel out here. And if I take my finger and I feel the back side, the shoulder is pretty good. It probably could come out a little. But over here, you can see the shoulder is dropped down in, so the bead is not seated properly right by that rim lock. So in that case, you need to slip in there with the tire lever and pry it out and give it a little extra help. Perfecto. Nice shoulder there, nice shoulder there. Flip the tire around. Shoulder, shoulder. So at this point, we know that the bead is properly seated at the rim lock location where it needs to be. Everywhere else is almost like it doesn't matter, because when you start riding, the pressure on the tire will help push the mousse out and then push the bead to where it needs to go. And it may pop in and out. If you run mousses, you're probably very familiar with that. But if you haven't run a mousse before, it's gonna be a weird feeling to get used to. All right, so we'll grab a wrench and tighten down these bead locks. This wheel's pretty much done. I used a little bit of RTV silicone to seal up the third hole in the rim so the gel doesn't get out there or sand doesn't get in. That's about it.